Hey man, it's Rashawn the Dude coming to you with episode 9 of the DeadRong Podcast. Man, it was a crazy weekend for sports and NFL particular. And I'm going to just talk about the Sunday night matchup right now about the Dallas Cowboys. Even though they were eliminated from playoff contention, they came to play last night. And honestly, I couldn't believe how good their defense played, going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who put up 41 points a couple of weeks ago, who blew out the number one team in the NFC, or the number 2 team in the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles, in the early sets of this NFL season. And the matchup was amazing. Their defense, even though Baker Mayfield was able to make good plays throughout the game and durations, the fact that the defense for the Dallas Cowboys didn't give up on plays, there was a touchdown pass that they just ripped out of the hands of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rookie wide receiver in the end zone. They played through it. DeRon Bland playing through and causing a fumble. They looked good, and for a team that you would think or consider that they had the possibility to just roll over and give up on their season because they are eliminated from playoff contention, between the defense playing the amazing style and the bang plays that they had last night, CeeDee Lamb coming to work even though he had a shoulder injury, and a real reason why he could just sit on the sidelines and take off the rest of the season, because this season doesn't mean anything. He came to play, and man, he had some huge plays. Even on plays where he was held, he still would go up, get the ball, get the first down, put the Cowboys in field goal territory, close to the touchdown. Man, it was an amazing game, and shout out to them, man. They're playing for their pride. They're playing for their honor, and it looks like they're playing for their coach, Mike McCarthy. Well, I honestly was one of the people that thought he was on the hot seat, but when you see a team going out there and fighting for their leader like that, I don't know if you want to fire him. What do you expect when you have Dak Prescott going out there hurt, and maybe he wasn't doing good under this offensive scheme? Cooper Rush is handling it very well, and he's a formidable backup, and he does give defenses different looks that they aren't typically used to when they go up against the Cowboys. And I feel like that was a great formula for them to see what they have the capabilities to do in the season, and maybe they can go back to the drawing board with the offensive coordinator and throw some different looks in for Dak and make him come out of his comfort zone, because the way that they were playing and the way they were scheming their offense during the course of this year when he was healthy, It was vanilla. It was black and white. It was stuff that I guess everybody was used to, and so it was easy for them to stop the Cowboys and beat the brakes off of them. And even with the defense, against the dating back to last year in the playoffs, they lost by 41 points in the beginning of the season. The Detroit Lions beat them, and it was like 40 points they got put on them. And everybody had this mentality that if they would just run the ball down the Cowboys' throats, and they were being successful. But yesterday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which are typically a pass-first team, and I would say that they do have their injuries on the offense, but yet and still, when there was plays that were being made by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and they were rallying to win the game, the defense for the Dallas Cowboys stepped up. They took the ball from them on multiple occasions. When I say they took the ball, they literally ripped it out of their hands, made sure they punched the ball while they were tackling the guys to the ground. And like I said, if the Cowboys defense was playing like they were playing yesterday, they would be in playoff contention here and now. So credit to them. And I guess it made the Tampa Bay Buccaneers look very, very human, when they've been looking very good against these monster teams like the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. Remember, they beat Detroit in the beginning of this year. And so with that loss and the Atlanta Falcons winning yesterday, they had the possibility to be on the outside looking in in playoff contention, because I think now they're 8-6 or not 8-7. And so is the Atlanta Falcons, and the Falcons hold the tiebreaker against them this year. So, man, that's amazing. And I just thought it was such an incredible game, a great defensive stand by the Dallas Cowboys. And like I said, for the fact that they don't have a reason to play. They are not in playoff contention. They are officially eliminated, yet and still they came in and they played, man. Hats off to them. Credit to them, to the coaching staff, everybody that showed up last night. And, they're earning their keep, man. So I don't usually have much good to say about the Dallas Cowboys, but I can't say enough today, man. Credit to them. Credit to their defense in particular, because they won that game for them through and through from the beginning to the end. So, man, this week was an amazing week for NFL football. We had football on Thursday. We had football on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We'll have it again on Wednesday, and then we'll have it again this Thursday. So, for everybody who loves the NFL, which I believe is every single person on planet Earth, we got some good stuff coming up. So, but the Denver Broncos and the LA Chargers, they were the Thursday matchup, and they looked really good. Bo Nix looked really good with the Denver offense, and in my opinion, he's been the most consistent rookie quarterback this year that has started. And he looked good. The defense looked good. But in crunch time, I feel like he just made some key bad decisions. And credit to the LA Chargers and Justin Herbert and Coach Harbaugh. They looked really good. They didn't go into panic mode when they went down, and the defense kept getting them off the field, 3 and out. They stuck with their game plan. They ran the ball, and when the plays had to be made, Justin Herbert did what he was supposed to do. So shout out to them. They were the ones that got the victory over the Denver Broncos, and so now they're sort of in the driver's seat for their playoffs. Both of those guys, in particular, the Chargers. And so how about the Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs? To me, it just seems like every time somebody plays the Kansas City Chiefs, and I can't stand the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think that speaks for most people on planet Earth that aren't these makeshift Kansas City Chiefs fans that just became Kansas City and didn't even know who their coach was or where they are on the map in the United States up until they won a Super Bowl. But whatever, that's that. I can't stand them. But they somehow seem to win all the damn time. There's always questionable calls by the referees, but I'm not even going to put the onus on them. I'm going to say that these teams that go up against the Kansas City Chiefs, it's almost like they forget how to play football when they go up against them. It just looks like an AAU team going up against an NFL team. And the Kansas City Chiefs don't even look that good this year. They're winning by the skin of their teeth in pretty much every single game. But it's like their opponents, when they go up against them, and the referees, they don't know how to play football. They don't know how to make good reads. The offense is looking pedestrian. The quarterbacks make bonehead decisions. And C.J. Stroud, for how much of a good rookie year that he had this year, it's like he hit that rookie wall. And I don't want to say he's not playing like a bum, but he's not playing to the caliber that he was last year. Last year, everybody was talking about him, and rightfully so, because he was balling out, and he took a team that wasn't even in contention. I mean, what they had, the number 2 pick the year that they got him, so that's how bad they were. And from being able to get the number 2 pick the year prior to when he came in last year in his rookie year, they made it to the playoffs, so he was balling out all on his back. But this year, it's been everything but that. Sometimes when I see him make his reads or where he's throwing the ball, it's bad decisions, and I can't put it all on him because that young guy does not have an offensive line. I don't know where this money is going that these teams are investing, because between the skill players, he's not getting paid because he's on a rookie contract. The offensive line should be like all great, high-paid people, and I think that should be for across the league. Like, there should never be a makeshift offensive line. And you see guys like C.J. Stroud, who has the potential, running for their lives on pretty much every down. Look at the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. He is running for his life every single game, the entire game, and every down when he's on offense, and he's still balling out, and he's still number 1 in every statistical category: pass yards, touchdowns, everything, all of that except for the rushing touchdowns and the rushing yards. But him and Jamar Chase, they have the number 1 statistical categories across the entire NFL, AFC and NFC, and this guy's running for his freaking life every single game, every single down. But yeah, with CJ Stroud, I just don't know if it's because of the line or he's just hitting that rookie wall. But what are you gonna do? So again, that was a Saturday. It was a Saturday game, man, and I love this format. I wish that there was Saturday football all year round, and I guess they don't want to compete with college football. They probably can't even compete with college football because people are freaking lunatics about their college organizations, and credit to them, man. They come and fill those arenas every or stadiums every Saturday. They stick by their team, their alumni, et cetera, or alma maters, and they have an atmosphere with college football like it's a movie every single weekend, no matter what campus you go to, whether it's SEC, Big 12, ACC, HBCUs. It's always a movement, and credit to them because they pushed the NFL to be a little better. But yeah, having football on Saturday was amazing, and so we also had the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Baltimore Ravens, and I don't know, man. For Lamar Jackson to be balling out as much as he is, and I know the win-loss record doesn't really reflect how good he's playing, but he has better statistics than Josh Allen, and he's not even mentioned in the runnings for MVP. I really find that odd, and I'm not taking anything away from Josh Allen because Josh Allen been balling, and you would think that this is like a retool, rebuild type roster around him because they're like a bunch of no names. They did get Amari Cooper during the trade, but other than that, they don't really have a team. A lot of their guys that were on defense, the big names are they moved on or they moved on from them. The only person they got is Von Miller, and he's 276 years old. So he's still effective for the few plays that he plays, but nevertheless, they really had like a retool, rebuild year, and he's been balling with them, meaning Josh Allen. But I say all that to say this: everybody's overlooking Lamar Jackson like he's not balling week in and week out. They do have their losses, and sometimes they are on him, but as far as statistical categories, he is doing better than Josh Allen, yet and still he's not even mentioned for the MVP. So that's something altogether. The Ravens defense, these divisional games, they're very physical, and people don't understand how these divisional games, it could be a 2-win team going against a 12-2 team, and yet and still it's close because these people or these teams, they know each other, and so divisional games are always going to be close. They're always going to be smash mouth. They're always going to be gritty, and it's always going to be something to look forward to because divisional games are divisional games, and everybody knows each other. So yeah, it was one of those type of games, and so the Pittsburgh Steelers, they were doing good. Their offense was doing pretty well, and there was just some bonehead plays by Russell Wilson. He made some bad reads, got an interception, and then he got a fumble, which was a strip sack. But other than that, they looked all right. The defense looked okay, but I'm sure Mike Tomlin wasn't very happy about that. They ended up losing. They still hold the lead as currently constructed for their division, but that may change within a couple of weeks because the last two games they may be a little difficult for them. And I think the Ravens have a easier schedule in accordance to how good and their skill sets and what they're good at. So yeah, that was a very good game. Ravens won, so they got a little closer to the Pittsburgh Steelers, trying and hoping to get out of that wild card spot. So yeah, man, that was good. The Buffalo Bills, speaking of divisional opponents, the Buffalo Bills versus the Patriots. It was a crazy game. I turn around and the Patriots are up on the Buffalo Bills, who just put up freaking 41 points on the Rams and then came back and did it again the next week against the Lions. And they're down 14-0 to the Patriots, who have like 3 wins. Drake May was playing good. I feel like he made a couple of questionable throws that caused the team some interceptions and kind of put the game out of their reach. But I think he has a lot of upside. I think he has a lot of talent, a lot of potential. Hopefully they can get some people around him and a better defense so that, everything's not on him. It's really hard for a rookie quarterback, or any quarterback for that matter, to just try to carry a team when you don't have a defense and your offense doesn't really have any firepower, and you're going up against the likes of the Bengals, the Ravens, the Detroit Lions, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Miami Dolphins. Who got all this firepower, and you got Kendrick Bourne as your like wide receiver number 1. So yeah, but the Buffalo Bills, they did what they did. They were playing in Buffalo, and it was like 6 degrees outside, wind chills like -1. They came back, they won. It wasn't a very sexy win, but nevertheless, they still won, and they're still in the hunt for the number 1 seed. And so that's really all that matters right now. The playoff picture is starting to get broader. Buffalo Bills have the ability to take the number 1 seed. I don't think they'll do it. Kansas City Chiefs, they only have their 1 loss, 14-1, and outside of the possibility that the Pittsburgh Steelers can steal one from them and bring the Buffalo Bills a little closer, I think they'll lock that up. So anybody that goes is trying to make it to the Super Bowl is going to have to eventually go through Arrowhead. And depending on the seed, and it may be a possibility that the Buffalo Bills are going to have to go through the Ravens in order to make it to the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. So yeah, that's that. But I want to talk about the biggest, I don't want to say an upset, but I guess for the NFL world and the NFC East, it was an upset. The Washington Commanders, they beat the Philadelphia Eagles, man. They were on that win streak, and they were looking hot. And beginning of the game, a questionable hit on Jalen Hurts. He was already down on the ground, and this guy kind of ran straight into him with his helmet, even though Jalen was already like on his way. His trajectory was toward the ground, and they took him in a blue tent. He looked like he was coming out for the very next play, and they took him to the back. They said no, they were going to have their concussion, their outside concussion guy specialist take a look at him. And so when they took him back to the locker room, they did their other tests, and nevertheless he was ruled out with a concussion. And I feel like this was the smart thing to do, the safe thing to do. You really see what you got in Kenny Pickett. You see what your team is made of. You see what your defense can do. But I hope this silenced all of the doubters and all of the people that were talking about Jalen Hurts and how he kind of. In layman terms, they're pretty much saying that he stinks, and the games are being won in spite of him. The Philadelphia Eagles are successful in spite of him, and I think yesterday was a reminder of how good he is and how much he means to his team. Because when you have a quarterback that can run and you have the threat of running, even if he's not running, or when things break down and people are covered downfield, he can scramble and make some plays, or he can scramble to pick up the first down on his own without even thinking. It's second nature to him. So yeah, I think yesterday kind of silenced the haters and put the quarterback controversy to sleep, because Kenny Pickett played all right, but he is a second string quarterback. He came out through his interception not the very first play. He looked good on his very first drive, the first pass of the second drive. But even so, they had the ability to win. They were winning, but the defense didn't stand up. The defense had one play to finish the game. They had 10 seconds to go, 14 yards out or 13 yards out, the Commanders were, and Jayden Daniels found Zacchaeus on a dime in the back of the end zone, and he was by himself right in the middle. So I don't know what to make of it. I would say that, they were down some guys. I think Montez Sweat was out. I think Jordan Davis was out. CJGJ, he got tossed. That was a questionable thing all in itself, man. I just feel like with a game of this magnitude, and he was the one who got his helmet ripped off of his head, yet he got ejected. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if there was some type of context, or maybe the referees forewarned him about something, but even so, man, he didn't punch on anybody. He didn't do anything that you would deem an ejectable offense. Man, it wasn't a foul like that, and I don't think it was a game-defining ejection. But at the same time, a guy like CJGJ, he brings that swagger, he brings that heart, he brings that veteran leadership, and they know him from being in there last year. He was with the Detroit Lions 2 years ago in the Detroit Lions last year, so he knows how big the stage is and how to deliver from the safety spot and just how to rally the troops. They're already down a veteran and Brandon Graham for the year, so I feel like you need those veterans. You need someone to hold everyone accountable, even though you got the young guns over in the safety position, the slot position, etc., etc. you still need that veteran leadership. And like I said, I don't think it was an offense that was ejectable or warranted an ejection. It was kind of it was stupid, and I just don't think that the referees should put games in their hands like that. Now, if it was like a targeting helmet straight to somebody while they're down, kind of like what happened to Trevor Lawrence a couple of weeks ago. Now, I understand that, but for you to be getting your own helmet ripped off and you're just laughing at the guy or saying something to the guy and they throw a flag at you, man, it's nonsense. So, yeah, I don't know what to make of it. But you know what? Better off that the Eagles lose now. Get that loss out of the way now. Be able to look in the mirror now and clean up what they were messing up, because they had shades of what their defense looked like yesterday, and that's not a recipe to win the Super Bowl. And if they do, I don't want to say if they do have the team, they do have the players, and this is the moment. If they're going to win the Super Bowl, I think this is the time to do it. You got all these guys locked up for years to come, except for about Dallas Goedert. You don't know what Lane Johnson's situation is, but most of the guys are young guns. The guys on the defense, they're young guns, so you got them in these rookie contracts right now, but you're eventually going to have to start paying people. So this is the time. It's do or die. You got to get it. You got to get the job done. So, I think they were taking their precautions with Jalen because they're looking bigger picture. Like, yeah, we might lose this game today, but we can't risk putting him back in there. And then he gets hit again, and it's something like a Tua Tagovailoa incident where he gets double concussed in one single game. And, and it could really hurt him down the line in his real life. Forget football, but in his real life. And so, yeah, I think they were protecting him even from himself because he did want to go back in the game. But you save your franchise player. You get him right for next week. You beat the crap out of the Cowboys. Probably sit them against the Giants just so that everybody's fresh. And I think the matchup for them is going to be the Commanders. So you would rather, as they say, they don't think that you can beat I don't say they. Most NFL people, most NFL pundits, they say that you can't beat a person or a team 3 times in one season, and they would have had to do that if they won yesterday. They beat them last time in Philly. They would have beat them yesterday, and then having to play them again runs the possibility or the risk of what people say is when you can't beat somebody 3 times in one season. So, take the loss, look in the mirror, get things right. I think Kellen Moore needs to stop being so in love with this pass game. Give the ball to Saquon. Be a little more creative. You do some jet sweeps with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Put Gainwell in there. Run a set where you have more than one back there. And that's just, that's that. So looking forward to the game tonight, the Green Bay Packers versus the Saints. I think the Green Bay Packers are going to wipe them off the freaking map clean. And we'll see what's going to be going on Wednesday. That's what I'm really looking forward to. But again, man, this is Rashawn with episode 9 of the DeadRong Podcast. Please like, comment, and subscribe, man. And thanks for the love that you guys show me. I love the outpouring. Keep rooting for your teams if your team's not eliminated. And if your team is eliminated like the San Francisco 49ers and my team is eliminated, still keep on rooting for them anyway, man. There's always next year.